story is, you win.
Yeah.
You're president of the US.
Yeah.
What's our priorities? What are we going to change?
Oh, so interesting. Well, one thing I would say is that I would, the best thing about this, so the best thing about this country is it's really big. And there are lots and lots of different people in it. And so it seems silly to me to try and centralize a lot of decisions. One of the first things I would try and do is to reestablish the notion of federalism, which is that the notion that individual states ought to have some, and cities ought to have greater autonomy over how they, so communities ought to have some autonomy about the kinds of communities they construct. And that's not, that doesn't undermine the American dream, that is in support of the American dream. New York ought to feel different from Arkansas, and there's nothing wrong with that. And New Yorkers shouldn't beat up on Arkansans, and Arkansans shouldn't beat up on New Yorkers for their differences. They should celebrate them. So that would be the first thing I would do.
Yes.
And then, what else would I do? I also just think I would try and take steps to attract a different kind of person into public life. Public life ought to be a noble calling and not something that we dread. And part of that is solving, like one of the most distressing things I heard about what it means to be a congressman, for example, Congress representative, is that you spend all of your time fundraising. And that sort of broke my heart. That's not what you should be doing. You should be focused on learning about what the problems are and how to solve them. So this sounds like a really dumb, kind of trivial thing, but I would sort of do what other countries do and have public funding of electoral campaigns. You shouldn't, the government, like in Canada, there's both limits on how much you can spend and a lot of public money is given to you to help you run.
Yeah.
So if you're, I was joking with my mom when I saw her, who was 89 years old, who lives in Canada. And I was saying to her, she should really run for office. And it's sort of a joke because she's 89, she has no interest in running for office. But in Canada, if you're an 89-year-old retired therapist living in, small house in whatever, you can actually run for office. It's not, she could actually, if she wanted to, get elected. That couldn't happen here. And that's sort of a shame because, as I explained to my mom, she'd be a really, really good member of parliament. She really would.
But when you say it couldn't happen, I mean, one of the beauties in the US is kind of anyone can be president. It's one of the problems.
But it's the money part is,
yeah.
I think the idea, you can do it, but you need to have access to so many resources that it effectively excludes a class of people who I think, why are there are a lot of the people who are in Congress tend to be people from the wealthier professions or wealthier backgrounds, and I have nothing against that. But I would like to see their numbers supplemented. There should be a lot of pastors and a lot of school teachers and these are people who have enormously useful things to add to the political conversation.